So I just finished well, I didn't just finish it. A few months ago, I did the Canol Heritage Trail fast packing. And I made my own custom running pack, and I just wanted to kind of do a quick video kind of showing that off, and maybe a couple other the gear items that I made myself as well for that trip. If you haven't seen the video of the trip, obviously you should go watch it. Otherwise, I'm just going to start with this one here. This was my first version. Made this pattern myself, basically. I traced the straps off of a Solomon running pack that I had, modified them, made them wider. Used spacer mesh here for the back and the straps. This worked pretty good. I ended up having to cut the straps and re-sew them. On the back, you can see it's a 3-panel design, so there's a back panel and just 2 panels and 1 seam down the middle. So I had these big back pockets, which I thought was actually pretty cool. Y strap at the top to close it. I've taken a bunch of the hardware off. 3 triple pockets on the shoulder straps, which turned out to be 1 pocket too many. The top pocket's not really that usable. For the most part, this worked pretty good. It's a little bit too long for a running pack. It sits kind of where a normal pack would sit. So you want it a little bit higher for a running pack, but I think it was a pretty good start. Just made out of cheap materials. I didn't have any good hardware or anything, but I ran with this 25 pounds in it, and it was pretty comfortable. So this was version 2. So for this one, I used a pattern from learnmyog.com. This guy named Tim, he's a really cool guy, makes really cool patterns. That other pack was really boxy. What I liked about Tim's pattern is it has more shape to it. It has some extra panels. So I started with Tim's pattern, made it bigger, made it wider. All of these packs I'm looking at about the 35 liter range, plus or minus. Strap design was the same one, just kind of modifying it. I went with a 2-piece strap here. So the yoke is sort of like half the strap in the yoke, but the idea was that my final pack would be a single piece. A couple of stretchy pockets, the webbing for the sternum straps. I've been putting hip belt attachments on all of these, even though I never really used the hip belt. Did a stretchy pocket here. Ice axe loop. This is too high. It needs to be lower. My ice axe is really long. Some crappy side pockets. So yeah, this one was pretty much like where I wanted it. Again, it's just kind of, I didn't have a lot of the right materials still. They were still coming. But generally speaking, this one was pretty much where I wanted it in terms of size and fit of the pack. The strap design was really close. I wanted to do some stuff with the pockets. Compression, I had just had cords that would kind of run through here. So this is the final version. So what we've got here is, I used the nice hex mesh this time for the back and strap. So the strap is one continuous piece from one side to the other. It's this 3D hex mesh, and then I've got some elastic, fold over elastic, like nylon. It's really strong, that I used to bind it. Got the elastic sternum straps as well. So again, when you're breathing, your chest can expand. I had this time, instead of having basically I sewed the strap straight into the seam instead of having an attachment, and that let me get this kind of extra pocket space in here, which is pretty good. So my water bottle would be in this one, had like the inReach or small stuff in there, and then food in here. So on the back, you can see I used this Dyneema mesh for the back. This stuff is awesome. I would have used it for the front too, but I got sick of cutting it. This pocket is really cool because it holds my Packraft. So basically, this is my homemade Packraft. It's a DIY Packraft ultralight, weighs 700 grams. So it fits in this pocket along with my paddles. I use these hand paddles. You just kind of put them on your hand, and so So yeah, this is my Packraft. So basically, when I came to a river crossing, I didn't have to open up my pack. I could just pull this out, paddle across, stuff it back in, not worry that it's wet, and be on my way. Other features, so went with side compression straps that just tie into the daisy chain here. The ice axe loop is lower, so I can fit my longer axe. For the closure, so I find that just going, so basically this is just Velcro, so I can just Velcro this shut, fold it over, and then just put the, I just use one strap. I find it's easier than the Y strap. So like right there, that's sort of the quickest way to get the pack open and closed. I find it holds it shut fine. I don't worry about it. On the top here, I have a couple of line locks in case I had to carry like a really big bulky load on top. I could run some cord over and tie it into the webbing there. Yeah, what else? I think that's about it. Use the Dyneema mesh on the side pockets as well, so they're quite usable. So yeah, that's the pack. My first pack I went with a padded, or my second version had a piece of padding in the sleeve in the back. I just didn't use that on this one. You gotta layer of nylon and then a layer of this hex mesh, and then you just kind of pack your pack properly so you don't get any pokies. I didn't find that the foam was adding much, so this one doesn't have a back pad. Yeah, so that's the pack. A couple other just sort of miscellaneous gear things that I had. So this was my jacket. This is made from sort of ultralight, like fabric. I can't remember what it's called. Crystal Tech, I think, from Discovery Fabrics. It's a great ultralight jacket. It was not nearly enough for the weather I got on the Canol. I should have brought like a full Gore-Tex shell, but I mean, otherwise I've used this for like a lightweight running jacket and stuff. These pants I made, these are a Neo Shell pant from Discovery, also from Discovery Trekking. My own pattern. The cargo pockets are great. I use them a lot. They're lightweight, they're stretchy, they're pretty waterproof and wind resistant, so I really like those. I think that was all of the homemade gear I brought on the trip. Don't really have much else to say about gear other than I did use these crazy ass Hokas, which were actually pretty sweet. They held up quite well. They were great for kind of long sections on the road, and then they were, or on the trail, I guess, but what used to be the road, and they were also pretty good in the canyons and stuff where it was all off trail. So they look insane, but they work pretty well. Only thing was I should have bought a size larger probably. These are a little too tight to begin with. These are just a little tight to begin with, and then with my feet swelling, yeah, probably should have gone a size bigger for these, but otherwise they work great. Yeah, so I think that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about for gear. Everything else is pretty typical backpacking gear that anybody would use. So yeah, if anyone has questions or anything, please leave a comment and happy to answer them. Thanks for watching.